Yep. So we are live. I'm here with my dear friend Miranda Cady in Orlando.
Thanks for having me, Karen. I'm so excited to join you.
Oh, I'm super excited. You have definitely been somebody I've been following for a while and just really thrilled to be talking about Florida this week. We've talked about Tampa and Naples. Tampa's tomorrow. I'm talking about Naples. Yeah. Sorry. Let me just get out of that. Yes. Sorry. There's lots of things going on here.
You're fine.
So for everybody who has any questions or comments, please feel free to post them in Facebook, on Zoom. We've got people kind of tuning in from all over. And again, I just want to thank my guest, Miranda Cady, who is a realtor with Premier Sotheby's International Realty down in Orlando. It is Florida week, and we are so excited. I'm so excited. I've been learning so much about the state. Miranda is in a very unique market because she not only has Disney World, which is my personal favorite, but it's a really great investment opportunity. You don't have the beaches there, but you're not too far. And I'm super excited for her to be sharing her insights about the the Orlando market. So thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome, Karen. I'm so excited. I was just talking to a gentleman from Berkeley, California in our Silicon Valley market and telling him how much symbiosm there is between the New York market, the Florida market, and the California market. We seem to have a lot of feeding going on, both for investment properties, second homes, and the like, just transferring for jobs. So it's really interesting. I feel so honored and blessed to be here with you today. I know I've been working with quite a few customers lately from New York City, picking up some properties here. So it's a great opportunity for us to connect. And hi, everyone watching. Feel free to comment below if there's anything you want to know more about. I'll do my best to answer your questions later this evening and follow up with you. I can't see them live right now, but I'll be sure to answer the questions you have. I want to start off by really kind of discussing the geography of Central Florida, because I think sometimes a lot of times people, especially if you're from out of state, we get confused with all the cities just kind of blur together. So obviously Orlando's in the center of the state. Along the East Coast, you have Jacksonville up to the north of us, about a 2.5, 3-hour drive, just depending on traffic and how fast you go. And we have Miami down to the south, about 3.5 hours, and then you can go off to the Keys. And that's the Atlantic coastline. Those beaches, you can go to New Smyrna Beach or Daytona Beach from Orlando, downtown Orlando, in about 30 to 40 minutes. Depending on which beach you're going to and where you want to locate. We do have the Space Coast, where they do all of the spatial launches, just 30 minutes from where I'm at, by UCF, University of Central Florida, which is one of the biggest student body universities in the country. So we're very blessed to have them. Yeah, it's a fantastic city. It's probably why we're seeing so much investment opportunity, is we have this huge student body, great talent pool. And then obviously for people who want to become more familiar with what's going on the west coast of Florida, you just drive straight over west about 1.5 hours and you're in the Tampa Bay, Clearwater, St. Pete market. I know you're hosting them. Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
You have someone in Tampa? So they'll talk more about that. You go down that coastline on Tampa, you have Sarasota, amazing beaches, great shopping, very artsy, and then down all the way to Naples on the Gulf Coast. So the waters are completely different on each coast of Florida. Central Florida provides you the opportunity to go either direction to those crystal clear blue waters of the Gulf Coast, or that wonderful surfing wave action that people love on the Atlantic. So it's why we see so much traffic and traction, is that you can literally go either direction, anywhere in the state within a 2 or 3 hour drive. It's accessible to everything. Not only that, we have 78 million people who visit annually from all over the world through Orlando International Airport. Obviously, you probably know that Mickey Mouse is a big reason behind that. Disney is a huge attractor for visitors from all over the world. And we also have a very big arts and cultural scene, which most people don't think of Orlando as having, a performing Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center, lots of local painters and artists, actors. It's a thriving music scene. So we have a lot going on behind the scenes that I look forward to talking to you more about here in a second. But then also, don't think that you have to drive 30 minutes for action on the water. On the beaches, we also have lakes. So we have a plethora. We have the Windermere chain of lakes, on Lake Butler and Lake Down, where you have homes ranging, you know, you talk about $1 million listing, you're probably the least expensive home you're gonna get on the Lake Butler chain of lakes is about in the 3 range, you know, 3 million range, and it's maybe a little bit more dated or a smaller property, but then you can go up to the 10, 15, $20 million range for an expansive estates on the lake, fully recreational chain of lakes. So there's the quality of life and a lifestyle here that is quite opulent that people usually don't think of or speak to when they're thinking about Orlando.
I love that. Is like so much information right there. So like I'm from California, and I obviously grew up going to Disneyland, and my parents for the first time took us, I don't remember how old I was, but I might have been in college when we first went to Disney World, and one of the towns that we went to was Celebration.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And like, that's like this utopian society that was like, where are we? And it snows at night. Like, it's very bizarre, but Orlando is obviously more than that. So can you speak a little bit to who lives there and what percentage of people live there full time versus just invest versus maybe just have like their seasonal homes there? Because it is different than the coast where you buy a beachfront property or you have a boat and so you need to be on some kind of water.
So that's a great question, Karen, and I love that I get to speak to this because Orlando has so many microclimates and micro neighborhoods, and it really depends on which section of the city we're talking about in Greater Orlando Metro. So if you kind of break up the city north to south, east to west, there's a lot going on. And in the downtown corridor specifically, our mayor, Buddy Dyer, I think he's on his like 4th or 5th term. He's a godsend, and he will probably keep getting voted in until, you know, the end of time. He's an amazing individual. Downtown Orlando has so much focus and emphasis on green, clean living, sustainability, and the environment. Our sustainability director, Chris Castro, is making so many big strides in that space and collaborating with people from all over the country, Detroit, Michigan, Atlanta, Georgia, in making sure that we're at the forefront of green, clean energy, solar being one of them. So when you talk about local residents, it's people who care, people who are passionate about each other, people who collaborate. Obviously a very diverse mix culturally. You name the culture, you name the country of origin, you name the skin color, it doesn't matter. It's a very diverse melting pot of ages, ethnicities, and people really work well together when you kind of get involved with the behind the scenes of the nonprofit sector. People collaborate and have a heart for one another. So that's the local environment for the residents that I feel like you can't really find that type of love and respect in a community, in a metro community, the way that it almost has a small town vibe. Outside of that, if you're down the Disney corridor, it is a lot of investment properties. It is a lot of vacation rentals, people who maybe stay 1-2 weeks of the year, rent out the property for the rest of the time. Great ROIs on some of that, especially the short-term hotel condos and vacation rentals. So it just depends on what you're looking for. If you want that Norman Rockwell kind of Americana, Mr. Rogers neighborhood, you can go to Winter Park for a little bit of the old world Florida feel in that theme. There's also just around the corner from Winter Park, a neighborhood called Baldwin Park that it literally feels like you're walking into a Norman Rockwell painting. It's on a little lake, people are biking, people are, out chatting, little shops. It's very much like Celebration, but close to downtown. And, it's just everywhere you go. We have Lake Nona Medical City that is one of the fastest growing planned developments in the country, at least a few years back, developed by Tavistock, a London-based company specifically focused on everything medical, health, technology. The idea behind developing that community just by Orlando International Airport, it's like 10 minutes away from the airport. The goal was to create something that was basically what Hollywood was to California in the 50s, but to the medical industry here outside of Greater Orlando Metro presently. And they're making great strides towards those goals. So it's, I could probably talk about Orlando all day. I've had a few people tell me I should be like the Orlando poster child. And
I think you are. You are to me, at least.
You'll have to ask Amy Murphy. Got the chance to watch me all over Vancouver with all of our Sotheby's friends, just going everywhere in every direction, from investors to residential to, so I'll try to slow my pace and quantum information I'm throwing out there and just have a casual chat with you. But take the mic, Karen.
It's okay. You answered a lot. What is, so present, kind of situation aside, what is the market like? You right now, you are so busy from what I can tell. You said people are kind of just coming from all over the states, right? And I mean, so I guess how many of them, what is the real estate market like? And then how many of them are local residents just relocating versus moving from other places, and where are they mostly moving from?
Great question. So relocation and referral wise, as far as our traffic flow and our migratory patterns, what we're seeing the most of right now, pre-current condition, were investors. Lots of investors in the, I would say 200K-ish space coming in from New York, LA, a lot of first-time investors, usually, young millennials in their, mid 20s, early 30s, who have been studying the market, who've been setting cash aside, who are oftentimes collaborating with teammates or partners. We had actually, and the two cities predominantly that we're seeing this kind of young millennial investor influx into our city are New York and LA. Predominantly. Yeah. Those are the two feeder markets specifically for investment properties where we have savvy, young, intelligent investors. What they're looking at is the fact that Orlando has had the highest job growth, like something like 4 consecutive years in a row, or been a top ranking city 4 consecutive years in the country. Forbes and quite a few different magazines have highlighted our job growth. Previous to the current circumstance, we had one of the lower unemployment rates. And then in addition to that, we talked about a huge student body. We also have what would be considered to most an affordable housing kind of crisis or shortage. Rents are very high. So, between expansive developments, builders are still succeeding. They have been before. They're still selling. All of the builders that I've been talking to through the last month have still kept up, if not increased, their rate of sales. So we're still seeing the same traffic patterns now today as we were pre. I'm starting to see more relocations for jobs and more people.
Jobs? What are those industries?
The great question. Our tech industry is booming here in Orlando. We kind of have deep-rooted connections with companies out of Silicon Valley, with companies in Seattle. The gaming space is really big in Orlando. A lot of tech companies have emerged here, birthed here, and relocated here. We have AE. They do a lot of video games. They're relocating a headquarters to downtown Orlando. We also have Luminar is a laser LiDAR technology company that they're Silicon Valley based, and they have a headquarters here where I think they do manufacturing here. I'm not sure specifically, but it creates the vision basically for autonomous vehicles. And they have some big contracts with big automotive developers to kind of, and we also have the testing grounds for those autonomous vehicles here. So those vehicles can be developed, tested, run right here. And we already talked about the aerospace technology, Boeing and Season. You have to forgive me. I'm not a big, when it comes to technology and aerospace, that's just not my forte. I do have a part, but there are things I don't know.
It's all right.
But there's a lot to offer. We have a thriving medical industry. I think across the board, Orlando is a good market to consider, regardless if you're just looking for quality of life and you want, a regular normal family life, but accessibility to great adventures on the weekends. You spoke to Disney. People love going to the theme parks on the weekends. It's a great, easy way to have accessible entertainment. We have the great downtown sector. The Amway Center is actually redeveloping a whole new concept there for just, concerts, sporting events, things of that nature too, and Orlando City Soccer Stadium. So we have a lot of diversity for just everyday entertainment, weekend recreation. It's a fun city to live in.
Yeah, it's a huge attraction, and it's not just for those people who want Disney. You've got SeaWorld, and isn't there like Universal Studios is there? I mean, it's kind of like the California, right?
Yeah.
Just on a bigger scale. And go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
So in terms of the markets, like today you were telling me you were going out about 40 minutes away with was it an 11,000 square foot house?
Foot house, yeah. Yeah.
And tell them how much it was. It is. Because this
Okay.
I was like, did she forget a number?
Did you add too many zeros? So that's the beauty of our market. And I was speaking with the gentleman earlier today. When a customer is shopping Central Florida, they're usually not just shopping our city, they're shopping the coastlines and trying to find the best value in the market for their dollars, especially our $1 million buyers. They want to know what they can get in Orlando versus Tampa versus Sarasota versus Jacksonville. And they're savvy consumers. They're going to stretch their $1, $2, $3 million, $20 million as far as they want to. And Central Florida offers extraordinary affordability in luxury markets. We do have quite an inventory. Inventory fluctuates, but we have a pretty sustainable, steady inventory of luxury homes. This property, 11,000 square feet. If you were to get the same size home in Palisades, California, our friend Anton actually over there has a beautiful listing. It's $24 million for Anton over outside of LA in Palisades, California, for 11,000 square feet. Here in Central Florida, 40 minutes north of downtown, about 60 minutes to Disney World, Walt Disney World, within an hour drive, you can get 11,000 square feet for the mid one. I can't say the actual sales price, but it is we were listed at 1.595, and we are under contract over asking price.
Over asking,
but not by much.
But under $2 million.
Under $2 million.
Under $2 million, 11,000 square feet.
17 plus car garage.
17 cars.
The buyer's going to be putting his Lamborghini. Well, I shouldn't say. Anyway,
a car showcase.
His Hondas, and his.
So okay, so not that buyer, but where are those people coming from? Are they already in the state, or they're coming from elsewhere?
Yeah. So that's a great question. And I don't know if we talked about this off camera or on camera, but I do want to mention that buyer is coming from Bel Air specifically. So he was comparing that price point market to ours side by side. Realistically, that was the price by price comparison, is how affordable our market is. Yeah. But honestly, the buyers come from everywhere. We're seeing here in Central Florida and along the coastlines, the customers and clients that I'm working with, I'm currently under contract on the Gulf Coast, about 3 hours south of here, southwest, in a town called Port Charlotte. It's right on the harbor, beautiful, in between Fort Myers and Sarasota. That one was purchased sight unseen by a German buyer. So he'd been looking, Sotheby's International Realty, we have a global network, we have all this reach. So he's been watching the property for the longest time and said, that's where I want it turnkey. I want the furniture, cash buyer. This is what I want. And that's what we're seeing a lot of in these price points. Anywhere in the world, we get a lot of attention from Brazil, a lot of attention from Canada. Those are big feeder markets for international buyers. But really everywhere, Karen, I think right now in a time of kind of scarcity mindset because of what's happening in the economy, we forget that there's, generational wealth, people who have been saving money their entire lives and careers for a certain lifestyle. Like I know friends personally who their entire work career have been working towards specific milestone goals. And now they're finally at that point where they're ready to retire. They're ready to step back. They want that next level home. They want that home they've worked their whole lives for. And oftentimes they're just modest, everyday Americans. They're business owners like yourself or myself or anyone else, our parents, our friends, our aunts, uncles, who just were really thrifty, really frugal, and knew what they wanted. And kind of right now is a great time to take advantage of the accessibility of so many options, whether it's new construction or resale. There's a lot of opportunity. And I wouldn't say that our market shifted directly in either a buyer or a seller's market. We've kind of balanced in the middle of both for quite some time, and we're still pretty steady there. Our inventory hasn't dipped too low or too high, and we just have consistent buyers coming in from other places, either for primary residence or secondary residence.
Yeah. So secondary residents versus investors. Like,
Yeah.
again, I'm just trying to understand, like, the people from Brazil, from Canada, are they looking for primary, or this is their second home, or?
Usually primary for international. International ends up being primary. A lot of times they've either accomplished their life goals and are relocating here permanently, retiring, so to speak, or sometimes second homes, sometimes secondary residents. But I would say predominantly international buyers, it's primary residence, just for the lifestyle. Investors, usually you're talking lower end that we're seeing a lot of movement still in the 200 to 500K space. Not so much, we don't get so many investors in the luxury market. Usually it's either primary or secondary residence.
Great. So in those price ranges, the 2 to 500,000 range, what do those generally rent for? Are you seeing those more where these companies, like closer to where the companies are relocating, or closer to Disney? Like, where are they buying?
Yeah, no, great question. So there are a couple of recommendations. And if anyone's interested in investment properties specifically, reach out to Karen. Karen has my direct contact information. We can connect and discuss that further. I highly recommend, there are opportunities in the Disney corridor that are key for investors right now. One, because some of them, a couple of options have guaranteed leasebacks. So you're getting, and I'm not going to quote specific numbers because they do change and fluctuate based on what you're shopping for, which company, so on and so forth. But the nice thing is when you go under contract with these developers, you're getting a 1 or 2 year guaranteed rate of return on your investment straight out the gate. And even though people do buy some of these properties cash, we usually recommend the financing option because 30% down, you're getting a much better cash on cash return. You can go buy 2 or 3 of them, right? Up your assets and your holdings, and kind of expedite your goals for your investment portfolio. But what we're seeing there is those properties, what I'm speaking to is like a short-term hotel condo. So
like an Airbnb style, like platform. And that, but they're in a place where you've got amenities and property managers, like investors, investment specific, like you've got property managers who are handling everything.
Yeah, completely turnkey. There are property managers on site. Everything's booked like a hotel through the company. You're purchasing it all in a package, right? The HOA, all the fees, everything, the furniture package, you're committing to a certain time frame that you're going to upgrade your furniture package every X amount of years. You're going to make sure that it is posh. Like behind me, obviously this is a staged property, one of my listings, but your short-term hotel condo is always going to look on point, pristine. And usually they have something like a series of 4 different crews that come in, everything from paint and wall touch-up, making sure all the doorknobs, handles, everything are functioning, to dents, nicks, scratches, completely refurnished, so that every visitor that comes in after everything's clean, every visitor that re-enters a property comes into a fresh, clean, pristine condo every time. So it's actually it's a really interesting process that allows an out-of-state or out-of-country investor to have some place where they can come visit for 1 or 2 weeks during the year and use it as a vacation property for themselves. And then when they're not there, collect a significant rate of return on that investment. And they start, in the mid to high 3s for something simple, up to, you can go up to the 1.2 range. And there are options for like kind of a single family residence cottage with a pool. And a lot of times these communities have like 14 restaurants, movie theaters, on-site water parks with like a wristband that changes the sound for the slide when you go down, so you can have your own music.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's kind of like its own little mini Disney theme park, right? With its own recreational activities, so that if you decide not to go to the parks that day, there's still stuff for the family to do. Everything's on-site, gift shops, restaurants, grocery stores, you name it. So there are more than one option. So you have a few different selections or opportunities within our space.
Wow. So how do those compete now with hotels? And you know, all the big hotel. I think I stayed at the Nickelodeon Hotel when I worked in
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm like, I
love
didn't
watching
have
Nickelodeon.
no kids, like the slides and stuff. I was there for work, but I was like, all right.
I have to ask, did you ever want to get slimed? Because I actually wanted to do it. I don't anymore, but that was a thing. Nickelodeon was a thing.
Back in the day, what was the show? Double Dare, right?
Yes, I
Yes.
doubled up. Yes, where they had to go through the mazes and everything.
Yes, yes.
Love
good
that.
times.
And they got the tags. Ah, I wanted to do that.
Well, now I know. I'll send you some slime. I'll have to go find some. All right. Well, you've given us a ton of information. If anybody has questions, like please post them down below. Miranda is obviously a great source of information. In addition, she is a listing agent and has a listing that she's going to share with us.
Oh, I almost forgot I get to share. Okay, so this is my first time screen sharing. Be patient with me, y'all. I think I can figure it out. So before we get started, let me just, and if anyone wants to see the 11,000 square foot home that we just put under contract, I'll post it in the comments so you can kind of give yourself a self-guided video tour. Yeah. But the home I'm going to show you today, because we're speaking more to Disney and investments, this one is located very close to Disney. Actually, the sellers of the property are dear friends of mine from high school. Love them to death. They just relocated to Wisconsin to be with family. This property is it's actually 2,900 plus square feet, just under 3,000 square feet. It's listed at 495,000. What I love about the home that I'm about to show you is that it has water views. It has water views for both sunrises and sunsets.
Wow, I know some people who love both, so
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's rare.
Karen,
Can you do me a favor and post, like in the chat, can you just post the link for the 11,000 and I'll throw it up on Facebook now?
Yeah, I'll figure that out. I think I have it right here. Sorry. Thanks for being patient with me, Karen. I'm a lot of things, but tech savvy is never anything anyone accused me of.
Don't worry. We're all learning this together. I'm just grateful the technology worked from Zoom to Facebook. So I'll post this on Facebook.
So I will load up this 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home and the Tapestry community on the Loop in Kissimmee, so you can see, and I'll walk you through. It's a 3D Matterport tour, and I'm sure Karen's told you a lot about that in the recent days and weeks with everything COVID-19. Karen, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. I'm going to maximize the view. So this is the front entryway of the property. It's just a beautiful, beautiful space. I'm going to kind of turn, you see we have these little dots on the floor that guide us through, we can click on, but I want to show you the entryway here. So you can see this is just off the main entryway. It's the formal dining room to the left of the property. You have ceramic tile throughout. It's just a really clean space, beautiful lines. And this is newer construction. I think it's only been lived in very limitedly. So it's almost fresh like new. You can go up the stairs to the main level. There is a game room up top, but I'm going to go through to the kitchen because this is really my favorite part. Whoop. So off to the right, we'll show you real quick, is the laundry room. Washer and dryer are on premise. They did stay with the property. Nice solid wood cabinetry. And I'm not used to doing virtual tours like this. This is
We're going to have to get used to this, right?
I'm trying. Is it okay that I'm chit-chatting through?
Yeah. You might want to check off the wiki buy from Capital One. I see that. I don't know if you see that.
Oh, so there we go. Didn't realize that was up there.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, wow, that's a beautiful kitchen.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
Solid countertop.
Sorry, you said it's 2,900 square feet?
2,900 square feet. You have the subway tile backsplash, soft close cabinetry, and you can't really get a feel for how expansive this island is right here in the picture, but I can tell you we've had Friendsgiving here, and you could easily fit 3-4 people along each side and off the edges, so it is quite expansive. Little butler's pantry here off to the left. Let's see if it'll let me go in here. So dining room, walk-in pantry here, butler's pantry here. And I just want to take you straight outside. This is my favorite part of the home. Obviously nice open living space. Ground floor master, so you have the master on the main floor. This wing here, you have guest bedrooms and a full bath, but I want to just go straight to my favorite part. Full living room. Okay.
Oh, wow. Look at all that water.
So this is just gorgeous. Look at that. So you're sitting off the back patio on the lanai, and the lanai is expansive. It actually stretches the entire back of the home. So this is a great little community. Mattamy Homes built Tapestry. It is fully gated. And the single family home residences on this side of the community are right next to the clubhouse. I'm gonna go over here to the left. You can see the clubhouse right across the lake here. Full water slides, great big community pool, workout center, you name it. And if you're out walking the dogs, you can see, you can just walk, if you go out this door, you can just walk around the lake and you're right there at the clubhouse. So it's really efficient, easy to get in and out of. This property is not far from the main entrance and the gate. So it has privacy, space, but it's also really convenient. I don't think I have a view on Matterport off of the front of the home, but if you're literally out the other side, you get another view very comparable to this. So this would be your sunset view. The sunset sets right over here. It is incredible. I've had the chance to watch it a couple of times from this property. Absolutely stunning. When you go out the front door, you get the sunrises over a comparable lake view. So it's a really peaceful, relaxing home for someone who likes water. I'm in love with it.
Yeah, super cute. And you said how many bedrooms is it?
So it's a total of 4 bedrooms. You have 3 down, and then there's a game room up top that I think could technically be converted into a bedroom space if someone wanted to, or a mother-in-law suite, but there is no closet. So it's not technically counted. It's more of a flex space. So here is the master bedroom. Nice ceilings.
So I'm curious about the furniture. Like, did the sellers buy it with this furniture?
That is a great question. This home is staged. The sellers relocated to Wisconsin to be with family and took all of their belongings with them. In that instance, we always recommend staging because it just makes the home feel comfortable, right? When you're sitting in a space that's vacant, it has a completely different feel than the staged furniture. Oh, I guess I just went through the bedroom wall. Sometimes you can do that in a virtual tour. We just hopped right out the window. I don't think we can go back in that way. So
can you climb in through the window?
Yeah, climb in through the window. Thanks for your patience with me today, Karen.
No, of course. We're all learning how to do this, right?
The nice thing about the staging company that I use, they do sell their furniture in packages. And actually the 11,000 square foot property that just went under contract, that buyer is buying the entire staging package from the staging company. It's actually quite affordable. They pick up this furniture on wholesale at a big event in Las Vegas where they plan for the whole year. So it's all trendy, up to date. And so if someone wanted this home turnkey and fully furnished with the artwork and everything, it can absolutely be arranged at a very affordable price.
Cool. So the other bedrooms are, okay, they're right there.
So right here, we're in the main hallway, the full bath. There's a second full bath here on the ground floor, dual sinks. Yep, that's not the bathroom.
It's okay. We saw it. I got it.
Okay. There we go. Nice, clean white tile. So all of the bedrooms are pretty much the same here. You have 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to show you this one here.
What is the floor?
Ceramic tile.
That seems to be very common there. Is it because it's cooler?
Very common in Florida. It's cooler. It's easy to clean because we have a lot of beach goers. People are not a big fan of carpeting. It is very hard to maintain with the typical Florida lifestyle. So people typically opt for tile. Obviously, you can change that up. There are tile finishes that look very similar to wood for people who like that feel. We notice a lot of our northern customers and clients definitely prefer kind of the traditional warm look of wood. Karen, I'm just like
Don't
trying
worry.
to get out of this phase. Can this be your blooper reel? Can we just okay.
Rotating.
No, I think back in the, I just keep going back in the bathroom. I think I glitched out. Okay, here we go.
I feel like we need like a teenager. Like a teenager who knows how to play video games to run us through this, right?
You know, I haven't played video games since Mario Brothers in like high school, so forgive me.
I think we could use that right now. So I saw stairs. What was that?
Yes. Okay, so let me take you upstairs. Let me just jut through a wall here and
no rules, right? And so what while you're doing that, what are the monthly costs for this?
For the HOA dues and everything, what I'm going to do, Karen, just so everyone has the specific and exact information on this listing, I'm going to go ahead and give you the link, and all of the information is actually on the listing. So they can look at the HOA dues, they can look at the club amenities, they can look at size and scope of the home. And really, if you have any questions, we want to make sure that we give you the opportunity to get maybe not this virtual tour in person. I'm happy to go to the actual property and FaceTime anyone with interest. So here you have a flex space that could be utilized as an office, a game room. You know, like I said, no closet, but you have some beautiful windows and natural light. Full bathroom.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it is a nice space for entertaining. There used to be a pool table here in the middle, but I think you could do just about anything you wanted for family living, home theater. So I'll take you back downstairs.
So you can really create another room or two up there.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a big open space. You can see, I mean, it definitely encompassed a majority of above a full bedroom, laundry room. It's a pretty big space. I can't remember the dimensions off the top of my head, but again, that would be in the property listing that I'll share. So here's the view from behind the kitchen if you were going to be making dinner. Kind of gives you a feel of what that space is like. And again, this island is just massive. It's one of my favorite aspects of the home. This kitchen is really kind of the sales feature for me. The kitchen and the view outside.
Very cool. And are most properties, you keep mentioning these communities, would you say a majority of the properties are in these communities where there is an HOA and are the amenities, or single family kind of all over spread out?
So before I answer your question, do you want me to leave it on screen sharing or back to
No, you can turn it off.
Okay, so yeah, that's a great question. We have a lot of HOA communities throughout Central Florida, a lot of builders. When you speak specifically about builders, we have Lennar, we have KB Homes, we have David Weekley. I mean, really the list goes on, Taylor Morrison. It depends on if you're looking for, you know, affordable single family, just simple everyday living, or if you're looking for something a little bit more opulent. The builders really do customize their neighborhoods based on the communities where they build. And we have everything from new build construction outside of Windermere in an area called Winter Garden. Lots of new construction happening there, new shopping centers, so on and so forth. We also have a lot of communities in the Lake Nona area that I spoke to, that medical city, usually gated, usually full amenities. Standard HOA fees, I would say monthly in communities like this, again, go on the very low end, you're going to be looking at $250, $300 a month. They can go up to $475 to, you know, $500, $550 a month, just depending on what's included. We do also have communities that are non-HOA communities that are very well kept. Usually then you're looking at closer to downtown, you know, Thornton Park, Colonial Town, some little great neighborhoods and hubs where people bought, you know, old fixer-uppers and just polished them and brought them back to life. So we have a lot of eclectic diversity as far as architectural style, functionality, lifestyle. It's what people feel most comfortable in. And it can be everything from the, you know, 200K range up to, you know, 20 million. And it just runs the gambit on what someone's personal taste and lifestyle is.
I love that. Well, this property is so cute, and I love the sunrise, the sunset options. And I mean, everything that you said, I think most people think Orlando and they think Disney, but it's so much more than that. And with all those different industries moving there, it sounds like you're not really relying on any one industry to kind of keep everybody alive. if one maybe takes a turn and the others pick it back up, and that keeps the interest level there, that keeps the investors happy because it's filled. So there's some really great opportunities in Orlando. Now I got to come back down and visit.
I would love that. I would love that. And
Yeah.
one last tidbit of information before you head out the door. Commercial space, we do work in the commercial sector also, whether it's land, office space, hotels, whatever people are looking for. Cap rates pre-turn, on the low end, 6, 7, but pretty standard. We saw cap rates in the 8, 9 range. And every now and again, you'd see a 12. So it does happen. The 12s fly off the market, let me tell you. But I'm happy to help someone if they're looking for an investment opportunity, if they're looking at relocating a company. There's just so much to speak about. We do have a few small opportunity zones left, but not a lot in that space anymore. Obviously, that's kind of been picked over. But yeah, happy to help in any capacity. Feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. And Karen, I kind of feel like you're a sister from New York. I want to visit you as much as possible when I can.
Yeah, I'll come down to you. I think the weather's a little bit better. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. And Miranda, thank you for being my guest today. And like she said, and I said, if anybody has questions about the Orlando market and anywhere around Orlando, obviously we've got a great connector down there who is an easy call away and obviously very, very knowledgeable about your market. So thank you for being here. Thank you all for tuning in, and everybody have a great night.
Bye, Karen.
Bye.